Although the number of coronavirus cases in the world has not come down dramatically, business is returning to normalcy. Commercial activities are happening, malls are opening up, theme parks are opening up, entertainment centers are opening up, gyms are opening up, parks are opening up. So, a lot of things are opening up, and the movement restrictions are being lifted. Now, keeping in tune with this gradual opening and gradual return to normalcy, the education sector regulators in UAE have also decided to open the schools, reopen the schools, and welcome the students from September onwards. Now, this is a very significant decision which is in the interest of the students. That brings us to the question as to why students must return to school from September. In this video, we are going to look at a few pertinent points which let us know and which very clearly tell us why students must return to schools from September. Coming up. What's going on? My name is Ramesh. Welcome to another video on Mudgal's Musings, a channel dedicated to increasing your productivity. Now, this is your first visit here, consider subscribing because I keep posting one interesting video every single week to help you increase your productivity. And don't forget to hit that bell button so that you don't miss out anything exciting on this channel and you get notified every time I upload a new video. A couple of weeks ago, I had gone to a beach in Dubai and I could see that there were families, hundreds and thousands of families which were on the beach. A lot of them were actually having a lot of fun, of course, that people wanted to have some fun. They wanted to have some fresh air. They wanted to freak out outside. And there were kids. Most importantly, there were a whole lot of kids. Now, I actually couldn't see much of a fear in the minds of the people as to their kids getting infected. When people could actually go to places, public places, beaches and public parks and other places, I don't see any reason as to why they should, restrict themselves from sending their children to school, which is so much more secure and so much more healthier and so much more caring place. The first reason that we need to look at is having a faith in the ability of the schools to manage proper health and safety protocols. All right. So all schools have been given proper health and safety protocols, and I'm sure all schools are implementing those health and safety protocols to welcome the students. So there are going to be all kinds of precautions taken. The staff and the teachers of the schools are going to be trained well. There is going to be dedicated people to ensure that the students are, safely, they are brought into the school and safely they are returned home. Now, amidst all this, there is another important medical, statistics that we need to be looking into. And what is that? We need to look at two medical facts which tell us that it is okay for students to be returning to schools. Number one is that there are very few students who have seriously fallen ill due to the coronavirus pandemic. That's number one. Number two is that it is less likely that the students fall prey to the infection of the COVID-19. Now, let us look at the reasons as to what the children are missing by not going to school or by not being in the school in person. Number one fact is that not all students can learn effectively through distance learning mode. Different students have different abilities and their responses to different stimulus or stimuli, it actually varies from student to student. So certain students actually learn better when they are in the middle of a company of the friends. Maybe they are maintaining social distancing, of course, about 1.5 meters or 2 meters, but still being in a classroom, being in a very familiar learning environment of classroom, school, with the teacher over there and with the whiteboard over there and with some display, a touch panel or a screen or something that the teacher. So a familiar learning environment is what prompts and encourages quite a lot of students. So that is one reason why the students must consider returning to school. The second reason what the students are missing out by not being in school or by not going to school on a regular basis is the physical activity and the lot of movement that we expect when a student goes to school. So physical activity of course, every day, at least for some time, the child at a school actually gets some time to play, which means there is a lot of running about happening, which means the children are playing one or the other sports. So there is a lot of physical activity that happens when the child is at school, which is actually missing when the student is at home. So it's like, sitting in front of the screen for about 3 hours and 4 hours, and in some cases even 5 hours. And after that, again, for entertainment also, the student is going to be glued to the screens in one way or the other. So there is very limited physical activity, which is actually in some cases leading to, let's say, weight gain among the students, so which is not a very healthy thing. So this is one of the reasons why parents must consider sending their children back to school. The third reason why parents should consider sending their children back to school is obviously the fact that the more time the student is at home during the school hours, the more responsibility of the parent increases. So probably there has been a time when the companies had allowed the people to work from home. Now slowly even the companies are opening up, which means the employees are expected to go back and start working, even though there may be a few companies which have allowed their employees to work from home, and they may be continuing to allow for work from home. But quite a few companies have already asked their employees to return to work, which means in cases where the mother is also working and the father is also working, a child requires a very safe and secure environment to take care of them during the school hour, during the daytime, when both the parents are working, when both the parents are not at home, which means sending the children to school actually works in favor of the parents, especially if both the parents are working. The fourth reason as to why parents must send their children back to school from September onwards is peer socialization. At home, the child is only interacting with the siblings or with the parents. While at school, the child is interacting with a number of teachers, the child is interacting with a number of friends, maybe from his or her own classroom, maybe from outside the classroom. So there is a lot of interaction that is happening. Of course, it is all going to happen with proper health and safety protocols in mind. Everything is being monitored by the teachers and by the adults at school. So in a very caring, in a controlled, regulated environment and structured and safe environment, this interaction happens. So a student is actually not missing the company of his or her friends. They get back to that, and when they are socializing with their peers, their chances of actually picking up the learning skills also improves. Some of the parents may have a question as to whether schools can guarantee that there will be no infections. Now, obviously, no school can guarantee such a thing. Well, it is something, despite having implemented all kinds of precautionary measures, there is a possibility that there may be some infection, but that doesn't mean that we live in fear forever. I mean, we can't be looking at a situation where we are planning to keep the students at home for 1 year or even more than that, because there is no visible end to the COVID-19 situations currently. Although vaccines are being prepared and there is some research going on, by the time those vaccines are tried, by the time they are being approved by the drug authorities of different countries, I mean, it's going to be at least 1 year timeline. And for 1 year, keeping a child at home is not something that parents should be thinking. Well, with all these reasons, I think must be adequate for parents to decide on the fact that they should be sending their children back to school from September. That's all on Mughal's Musings this week. Thanks for watching this video. Like it if you like it, and do share the video among your friends and acquaintances, just in case they might also be interested in watching videos like this. Till I see you next time, have a wonderful time ahead. Bye-bye.